So what does Mr. Trump's choice for Secretary of Defense mean for defense stocks, they asked.
Joining us now, Barry James, president of James Advantage Funds, and Brian Ruttenbur, senior equity analyst at Drexel Hamilton. Barry, we'll start with you. It is a very rare scenario to have a general in the post of National Security Advisor as defense secretary, and now potentially General Petraeus in the running for Secretary of State. Very rare to have generals in all three of those jobs. What does that signal to you about the importance of military in a Donald Trump presidency?
Well, I think he emphasized it right from the beginning. He was really focused on the men and women of the armed forces. I'm a veteran myself, was a fighter pilot. Fortunately, I didn't see any combat when I was in. But General Mattis is a prime example of a soldier, someone who's concerned about the troops. They're not going to be as beholden to weapon systems per se. They're going to be more focused on what actually accomplishes the mission out in the field. So I think this whole thing with all these generals being involved is to cover to some extent his lack of experience in this particular area, but also I think it will provide him some balance in terms of how do you know which systems to really focus on and how to spend the money that's going to be piling up, as it were, in the next few years.
Brian, go ahead. Well, I was going to say, Brian, does it automatically mean defense stocks are going to be a slam dunk when you have a man who has had strong opinions about what the makeup should be of our defense industry? More planes, more submarines. Does that mean more spending for these guys after a time of trying to downsize the military for years?
I think there is going to be more spending. One of the things that President-elect Trump did state also is that he wants to cut government employees through attrition. That's going to be, and he also wants to build up the cyber intel world. That's very good for companies like Booz, Allen, BAH, as well as CACI or CACI. Right. Government services companies, I think, are going to benefit very well from the spending that Trump is going to bring into.
Barry, what do you think about the contracts that the government already has with some of these companies? Because we know that Donald Trump wants to rip up trade agreements. Any sense that he might revisit what companies are supplying the government with the weapons and the services that its military uses?
I think there's a very strong possibility he'll look at all of those, and he'll have his Defense Department do the very same. One of the things that we see right now, defense stocks are up 10% since the election. They're up 100% since the sequester back in 2013. So it's not like they're hidden. They're really trading at very high valuations today, and I'd say there's a lot of risk there. If some of this goes on and it's not really taken into account, it could cause prices to pull back. We would think that defense stocks, even though there will be more spending, it's already built into the price, and so we don't think they're going to perform quite as well in the next 3 years. We say it's not an area to be overly aggressive in unless you're going down the size. You're avoiding the Lockheeds, the General Dynamics, and those sorts of stocks. We think that that's where the real money will be made in the defense industry.
Brian, I was going to actually ask about that. Given the year-to-date performance of this group, is there a risk that we've kind of gotten ahead of ourselves? I mean, or is, in fact, the overall pie available to the defense industry going to grow? It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of play in the federal budget based on tax cutting and the appetite for bigger deficits.
Well, I agree that the growth in the defense primes is questionable. There's going to be some growth there, but maybe not dramatic. That's why I like the government services group. That's been down for the last 7 years and has well underperformed the market. Those are the Boozes and the CACIs of the world. That's why I like I said, that group, that we're going to spend more on cyber, more on intel. There's going to be downsizing of the federal government. Those government services and solutions companies are going to be the big beneficiaries from this.
All right. Barry James, Brian Ruttenbur, good to see you both. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.